I'm Gus Congemi, and this is Gus Congemi Outdoors. And today we're going to talk about packing for a remote trip. You know, whenever I leave for a remote trip, it usually requires me taking a commercial airline and then getting on a smaller plane or a boat, either a float plane or a bush plane. When I get off that commercial flight, my gear has to be flexible. I need to be able to break down my gear. Sometimes it's to balance weight, sometimes just for space. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I do on my trips. First thing is, I'm a bow hunter, so whenever I travel, I like to bring 2 bows with me. I've known guys who've taken extra set of limbs, cables, strings. They bring a portable press, but for me, I want to be confident in my shooting with the bows I'm bringing. In other words, I'll be shooting up to 80 or 100 yards with these bows. Although I could, if something happened to one of the bows and you could change the limbs, change the string, it's really tough to have that confidence when you're in a place like Kodiak Island or up on a mountain to be able to sight that bow in and make it work and feel confident with it. So for me, I just like to bring 2 bows. So what I usually do is bring a bow case like this that'll carry 2 bows. And what I'll do is get both of these bows in and set. Now there's a couple of things I do differently on different trips, depending on where I'm going. If I need something like a soft case to go with me, I can bring a soft case with me, put one of my bows in the soft case and put it in here. If that's not the case, what I like to do is usually pack clothing around it, but let's just talk about the case for itself. First, I pack arrows, at least a dozen arrows that go in with my bows. That comes in right here, fits in. Now, one thing about arrows is I like to bring multiple cases with me because I've had situations where my arrows have been lost, damaged in one case. So in this case is right now 2 bows and my arrows. Then I bring a case like this, which is a utility case. In this case will go my release, an extra release. I'll put my broadheads in here. Everything that will go in goes right in here, gets packed right neatly into this case. Now, release, arrows, broadheads, 2 bows. Everything is in this case right now. Now, what I like to do is pack gear around this bow because what I found is that luggage can get lost. You won't have all your equipment with you. So for me, especially on a place like Alaska or Canada, you need really good rain gear. I've been on trips where it's rained 9 out of the 10 days. You need something like this to keep you dry. And I'll pack this in around my bows. It'll give me a little extra protection for my bows in case they get banged around. So in this case, my bow case is going to carry 2 bows. I'm also going to have at least a dozen arrows in this case itself. I'm going to have all the broadheads that I'm going to be using in here along with 2 releases. I'm also going to pack outer rain gear, something like a heavy rain gear like this Helly Hansen, which is a PVC, just in case we have a real downpour for multiple days. This is all going to be packed in this case. Now this pack weighed 37 pounds, this bag right here with my 2 bows, dozen arrows, broadheads, everything in it was 37. So I have a lot of options here. If I'm going on a trip where I'm gonna need a soft case, I will wrap one of the bows in the soft case, pack that. Or I could take something like this where I put a base layer in here, some extra gear, pack binoculars, rangefinder, knife, any other type of thing that I might think I'm going to need on this trip and get it in that bag. I want it to max out at 50 pounds. So let's go over what I have here. Everything that I need for hunting as far as weapons, my bows, my outer rain gear in case we have a torrential downpours, all my equipment for my bow hunting, my binoculars, rangefinder, everything is in my bow case. Now, in my pack that I'm carrying, my carry-on piece of luggage, I have rain gear, I have base layer, I have insulating layer, I'm wearing my hunting boots, so I know that when I get off the plane, I have enough equipment to at least get me into the field. And by having that, it gives you a few different options that at least you could borrow a firearm from possibly your outfitter or whoever you're hunting with and still continue your hunt even if your gear doesn't make it. Now I'm gonna get to my main duffel bag. And what I usually do in this is I use a waterproof bag that no matter where I go, I know that that bag will be protected. In that bag contains a lot of smaller bags like this. These small day bags, which are water resistant or waterproof, which are great. Because what I do in each bag is put a whole set of clothing, from a base layer to a mid layer to an outer layer. So that means that I take one of these bags and I have a full set of hunting gear right in here. This is a full day's worth. I could hunt for a week with this, actually. So I'll have my second set of gear. One will be in my carry-on, one will be in this duffel bag. Another great thing about these bags is that if you got on a float plane or a bush plane and you have to disperse the weight, I can open this bag up and take bags like this out of this bag, which can redistribute the weight. But the good thing about it is that all of these things are in one bag when I'm traveling on a plane, where I'm allowed 2 pieces of luggage. So my bow case and this are the only 2 pieces of luggage I have with me, and I have this carry-on. But I also make sure I have at least another dozen arrows in a tube like this, packed in this bag. Look, I've had mishaps before. It's always great to have that extra dozen arrows with you. So somebody who does a lot of packing trips might look at this and says it seems like a lot of gear. But I've had this situation happen to me before. This is what I can bring on an airline. These 2 bags, this is with me. Once I get off my commercial airline, onto a float plane, onto a boat, I can disperse this the way I have to. Remember, I said I have waterproof bags inside here that can be possibly moved around to disperse the weight. Once I get to base camp, that's the big thing. I repack. I'm gonna pack what I need. I'm gonna be wearing the clothes. I'm going up the mountain. I have my hunting boots on. My bow is gonna be packed in here with probably 6 arrows in this pack right here. I'm gonna have whatever extra gear I need all in this backpack. But if something should go wrong on a hunt, and it's happened before, you're gonna get up there, you have a mishap, you have a fall, something gets damaged. You can get off the mountain, you can get out of the bush, get back to base camp, and still continue your hunt because you have all this extra gear that's there. It's not that much, but the key is, especially when you're bringing a duffel bag like this, is to have smaller bags inside, preferably waterproof, so they can be packed in different things and you can disperse the weight. It's really a good thing and a smart way to pack if you're going to be going on a trip like this. One more thing I want to remind you of is all your crucial papers, your permits, your licenses, everything. Make sure that's in with you. Have them in sealed plastic bags so that you have them in your backpack with you on the way up. Can't forget them. You got to have them on the mountain, and hopefully this helps you on your next hunt.